Baldur's Gate 3 Patch 7 is coming out sometime this week for PC players, and console and Mac players will likely be getting it in about a month's time from now. I just want to go over some of the changes that are going to be brought along with the update, and I'll just be talking about it, giving my thoughts, and it isn't a full list of the patch notes here, but I'm going to go over this here just so you guys can get an idea of what is to come in Patch 7. So there's a lot that's going to be being worked on in this, and over 1,000 fixes and improvements, which is an incredible scope. I also think that there's some things that'll be added that are not on this list. They do say that at the end of this list that this isn't everything, but I got my own theories here, so we're just going to dive right into things here. So introduction, the big one being the new evil ending. So this is what a lot of people are looking forward to, because the Dark Urge is what I believe to be one of the best playthroughs in Baldur's Gate 3. Now, I'm a big fan of the Resist Urge, so going on a good-sided Dark Urge, I feel like that is the true main character of the game, and it kind of ties it in line with Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. So for evil players, there's going to be some new evil endings. Larian Studios did release a little update on their Instagram, so you can go check that out for a couple videos, or you can just wait to see it yourself, because I think that these are going to be pretty crazy. From what I've seen already, it was haunting, so yeah. But the other big one being the mod manager, which I am extremely excited for. As you guys know, I've talked about many times in my videos, I've held off on doing modded content in my videos just because I didn't want to make videos for people that won't be able to enjoy it. So being able to finally get to see all the new mods that'll be made, it'll be exciting. And console players will also get these mods. A nice thing, if you're a console player, we're ironing out the patches and bugs and all that with our PC release. So the mod manager that will be released will have a lot of mods already for PS5 and Xbox players when it does release on console. And again, I think that will come out in about a month's time. So yeah, it's exciting to get mods in official mod support, because I believe that if a game gives full mod support, it extends the shelf life of the game. So games like Skyrim and Fallout 3, Fallout 4, etc. are all really well done games, but they would have aged poorly if not for mods. So not saying that Baldur's Gate 3 is an incredible 10 out of 10 game, but adding mod support allows players to enjoy this for years to come. Like, I'm sure I'll still be playing Baldur's Gate 3 20 years from now, which is kind of silly to say, but yeah, adding mod support is huge, and mods created by the community. So I expect to see Upper City in Baldur's Gate 3. Like, I think that'll be a really cool change, adding in the Upper City, which wasn't made. I'm sure some player will do it, but another big one for split screen players is they're going to revamp the split screen gameplay. So I saw a clip of how this will work. It's going to be nice because if you're walking alongside someone and it'll merge the screens together with both characters in screen. So it looks really nice, especially if you want to play with like your significant other or a friend. You'll be able to play this much more seamlessly in the split screen mode. So that is a big one for me, because I would love to get this on console someday. I just have it on PC, but I've been thinking about getting this game on console just to be able to play it with others, and I feel like that'd be fun, just doing couch co-op that way. So another big change, some big changes coming, is to honor mode. So there's actually some that I'm really excited about. One of the best ones being the changes to the legendary actions that bosses will get. You can now put these in a custom game mode. You previously could do that if you create, like, let's say you did an honor mode run and failed it. You can also continue the save file. The only big issue that I had with this is you only get one save file, so that obviously isn't as nice as being able to do it in custom mode. So yeah, some other changes to it. Dror Ragzlin will also have changes, so if you knock him into the spider pit, he'll befriend the spiders and use them against you. So they use a new spell called Arachnid Compulsion to turn the spiders against you to fight you. So that's pretty cool. I think it's nice that they're adding some extra things that people are kind of trying to cheese. The Boulette also has a new condition called Diamond Scales and a new legendary action called Shedding Scales. Malice Thorn now has a legendary action called Grasping Appendage. So getting a few different legendary actions here. Hello there, Dark Urge wannabe. Malice Thorn being an Act 2 fight that I think didn't get as much love in legendary or in honor mode. Now getting that is pretty nice. There's also new auras and spells for spectators, which are already a pain to work with. So I think that's nice, adding a little bit extra into the spectator fights is great, especially because you can get the spectator, the Iron Flask, which throws out a spectator. This is from D&D, which is kind of cool. And also, two of the Get the Yankees, so the one that you fight in the Get the Yankee ambush at the end of Act 2 will now have a new legendary action called Soul Sacrifice. I'm scared to know what that means because that fight is frightening. And also, in the Knights of the Shield hideout, new legendary action called Tunarath's Embrace. So very excited to see what this means for the honor mode. And then there's also Pataris has a new legendary axe called Patarian Dogma. So very curious to see what that means for honor mode, but I'm really excited for the increased difficulty, because this honor mode's really hard as is, but it's always fun to get more challenge. So the UI, there's going to be some changes to the UI, and I think that this is one that a lot of people are really excited for, because not that the UI is bad or anything, but it could be better in terms of just the way things work out. So I'm just reload a save there. I have used mods in the past to overcome the UI. Like, if you've seen there when I was running around, I'll show it off once this saves again. I've removed the UI from showing whenever we're moving around, because it takes up a large chunk of the screen. I'm hopeful that mods will get fixed really quickly with this, but being able to change the UI, so revised recognition of in-game video options to be more logical and robust. We'll have an upscaling drop-down, an upscaling mode drop-down, upscaling sharpness slider, followed immediately with the options that are affected by them. Updated the resolution UI, so you have to toggle reactions you want to use to confirm them. This saves you from having to click do not react multiple times. That is huge, especially for our divination wizard fans. So sometimes reactions will pop up an incredible amount of times. So that's nice to be able to reduce the amount of times that we see them. As you can see here, I have my UI so it disappears whenever you don't mouse over it, which is really great just for being able to give more screen real estate. So I really like that change. Or I guess it won't be changing like this, but being able to change the UI around as well. They're also changing some things with using soap and sponges, now using... So instead of eating the soap, you now use the soap. So that's a nice little change. It's kind of funny that previously it was you would consume the soap, so it was almost implied that you were eating it. But that's a nice change. Also, your player name does not change to custom during creative character creation, and also whenever you're creating the Dream Guardian. And fix the wrong spell ability showing up when selecting a feat during level up. So that's nice, because I feel like the tooltips were sometimes a little bit misleading at times, but yeah, it's nice to see that they're changing the UI and updating that. And I feel like this is probably the area that's going to have a lot of different changes that aren't mentioned in this list, because there's a lot of things in the UI that are bugged or just haven't been updated properly, and I've getting a lot of comments in my videos about them, so I'm hopeful that that will correct a lot of these things. Now, as for artwork, there's going to be some new changes. So loading screen in Act 3 showing the streets of Baldur's Gate, which is nice. I always like more updated art, as we saw there with the loading screen previously. I also fixed the skirt part of the adamantine split armor missing for female dwarves. I did not know that was a thing, but hey, that's always good. And fix the adamantine scale male clipping on large male characters. One thing I really hope that they fix, this armor when you go into the so the Wave Mother's robe, whenever you're in the level up screen, it actually clips through the chest of the large drow or elves characters. So that is a little bit annoying. You don't see it right now, like it looks fine, but whenever you're running around with it on, or whenever you're leveling up, it'll show pretty clearly. So that's nice. I feel like that'll probably get changed too, because it's a very popular armor. So gameplay changes. You can now start custom modes with honor mechanics and starting a new playthrough. I love that, because the honor mode rule set is pretty cool. Having some changes to things like haste and also all the legendary actions that characters will get, I think that that's awesome. Now, another huge change that I'm really excited for is the Kuo-toa will promise to build an army for you will now support you in the final battle unless they all died in Act 1. So that's the fish people, the Bual's benediction people. That's really nice that they're now going to come to the final battle. I think that's hilarious. The final battle in Baldur's Gate 3 is incredible. I love that a lot of the characters from the game will appear and help out. So that is really cool. And the help of the Gondians promise for the final battle will now arrive in the form of a friendly Steel Watcher. Apologies from Xander Tobin for the delay. So getting a Steel Watch in the final battle, pretty cool, especially because that questline is, I think, one of the best questlines in Act 3. So good to see that they'll be now adding that in. The hair color options in Character Creator will now remain accessible after you choose the bald hairstyle, so you can continue fiddling around with the eyebrow color. So that's good news for our bald friends that want to play as a bald character. You can now change your eyebrow colors. Overhead dialogue options that support multiplayer characters will now involve the characters assigned to different characters. There are no limits to characters controlled by a single player until now. This means that the more banter among characters in multiplayer games. So that's huge, because I think the banter among characters is one of the best things about this game. I really like whenever people like Gale and Minthara kind of shoot off at each other, or any of the inter-party banter. I'm always a big fan of it. In games like Dragon Age, that's one of my favorite parts of the game. I think it's probably my favorite part of Dragon Age Origins, but Anyways, that's besides the point. Getting more dialogue options is always a good thing, so really happy to see that. Group hide will now no longer affect summons that aren't linked to the party in the party line. Change the behavior for selecting camp supplies, so it will no longer use your full stack. It'll use it'll only use what it needs from the stack, so that's a great change because while there is a lot of camp supplies, some people don't pick up everything. Like I've been learning, some people don't like to pick up items often, so they're really scrounging around for camp supplies, so that'll help out. You can no longer cheese the leap. This is a funny one. So you can no longer cheese the leap of faith trial at the Gauntlet of Shar, because you previously could just click to the end. I did do a video on that. It was one of my first Baldur's Gate 3 videos. And then you could pathfind your way alongside it. Shar threatened to smite us if we didn't fix this one. So good that now has a fix. And, I mean, you can still pretty easily do that. It's trial, but... fix a bug where resurrecting Lae'zel on the beach in Act 1 would cause her to appear in the party line, but not in the world, preventing you from leaving Act 1. That is definitely a bad bug. I never had that happen to myself, but patch up some save games where Gale had his necrotic aura. Well, he shouldn't on load, so that's another nice change. And fix Minthara's body sometimes turning invisible on the level up screen, which is hilarious. We could have liked the floating head to hands look, but hey, that actually happened to me. That was one of the funny things that I had in one of my playthroughs. I was like, what the heck is happening to Minthara? It was just a head and hands, but yeah, that's really nice. They also changed some animations, and this one I'm really excited for. So Astarion now has idle animations at camp. So that's really huge because previously Astarion did not have idle animations. So yeah, that's huge. Or just reading the book. And that was all he did was read a book. And that just feels like more of a Gale thing than an Astarion thing. So I'm curious to see, maybe playing with a knife. Because I know that Minsc likes to play with a knife and pretend to shave his head. So maybe Astarion will do that as well. They also add a new idle animation for Minsc at the camp. So Boo may or may not have taught him some Tai Chi. I love Minsc, and I'm glad to see some more stuff related to him. Karlach will no longer brush the shaved side of her head. I actually saw a video on that, so that is a good change because it's kind of funny that she had her head shaved and would brush the shaved side, not the haired side. And polish the appearance of neck kisses in the lovey-dovey scenes with Shadowheart and the Sharon Pass for characters with large body types, as well as Dragonborn characters, so that's great. I always am a fan of more changes to the animations, but writing and flow changes are pretty huge. So, dotted some of the dialogue options and voice lines into the dialogues in the game to add more overall reactivity, particularly to account for edge case flows. So that's good, fixing the dialogue in the game, because sometimes I actually had a lot of bugs in my first playthrough. I played this game right as it came out, and there were some bugs here and there. Dotted more Dark Urge reactivity, so dialogue options and narrator lines into dialogues across the game. That's great, because I love the Dark Urge. I don't think I can play anything else outside of the other character origins, so more Dark Urge, the better. Resolved an issue that was rendering some romance parties inaccessible while adventuring. I had a lot of issues with romance my first playthrough, so I'm happy to see more fixes to that. Avatar Lae'zel can now decide what she wants to do at the end of the game after Brain is defeated, even if she wasn't the avatar making the additional choice in the main dialogue. So if you played as Origin Lae'zel and switched to a different character, it would actually cause issues. I've seen that happen, and I'm glad they fixed that. Now there's a bunch of fixes for Will, and I'm happy because Will deserves a lot more than he got. So if you're in added dialogue option asking for a kiss and more paths of Will's epilogue dialogue. So he's a little bit less platonic with his relationship, which is nice. If you're in holographic form in the epilogue, Will won't automatically assume he's talking to Lae'zel. That one made me laugh when I first read it, because I didn't know that. Gave Will a new greeting for romance partners in Act 3, as well as new dialogue for characters that don't have high approval, so that's great. More personality in Will, the better. Companions should now be more sympathetic to Astarion fleeing in the sun. That's one thing I always found funny with the epilogue, is whenever you see Astarion running away, and no one really reacts. There's like, oh, bye Astarion, we just spent the last forever with you, but that's fine. So reacting to him running from the sunlight is great. Adding new dialogue where Karlach will react to Daemon if she finds him dead after he told her he can help her. That makes me sad. I hope I don't get that in one of my playthroughs. And Minthara will now react if you knock her out in Act 1, which I think is a funny change. I think that was well done. That's smart that they did that. Now, scripting. There's a ton of changes to scripting, so fix issues with resurrecting characters via withers. That would trap you in eternal slumber, unable to long rest, so that's good. Fix a bug with Shadowheart, keep repeating the line when you talk to her after she's resurrected by withers from the Shadowfell. Fix a small issue preventing you from commenting on Gale's last name, Dekaros. Fix occurrences of Will having an exclamation mark above his head when he already had everything to say. I've had that one many times. When playing as Dark Urge, Minthara will no longer act as though you accepted Baal when you've been stripped of his influence. That's a pretty funny one. I didn't know that that would occur. Fix a broken kissing scene whenever you gave Shadowheart the Idol of Shar. Fixed an issue where Jaheira would stop following the party after spending a night outside of the party, so she now comes along. The rune tablets and Nautiloid not triggering the narrator's lines is now fixed. Clerics of Lathlander should now recognize the symbol on a Lathlander amulet, so hey, that's a really nice change because, yeah, I love the dialogue specific to different clerics, and I'm always happy to see more of that, so happy that that got fixed. Ensured the avatars prioritize the main speaker in dialogues related to the Hags. Act 1 surrender, so you can get yourself the Hag's hair. So that is a nice change as well. And Minthara does in fact now have something to say about Orin after you kill her. I was really surprised about that in my playthroughs because there's a big scene in Act 2 where she talks about Orin, and you obviously know that there's a lot between those two characters, so I'm shocked that there wasn't much more after you take out Orin, so happy to see that. More Minthara content's always welcomed by me. Made the romance scene with Will in Act 3 unskippable if it triggers to avoid skipping it and not being able to finish the romance arc. So more fixes in Will's romance, the better, because I feel like his got the most shafted. Fix Karlach's scene in Avernus not playing if you decide to go with her when playing as Will. I'm shocked that that was a thing, but so glad they fixed it. A bug is now fixed that Will will talk to his father if Answer is defeated, and after the pact with Mizora is broken, but Ravengard is saved from the Iron Throne despite this to decide on his title. So that's huge because, yeah, it should have had dialogue there. So if you got bugged with that, it would feel broken. Lae'zel will now wait a little longer for you at the site of her recruitment if you tell her she'll be back. That's great. I had issues with Lae'zel my first playthrough, and then she ended up dying, unfortunately. Improve Lae'zel's idle camp behavior so align better with other companions. Great. Fix the fade to black after Karlach's scene in Avernus at the end of the game, which will give you a very brief glimpse of the game developer land. That's funny. Breaking out with Karlach and speaking to another companion will now won't block her dialogue anymore. That's a good change. Reinstated Gale's last line in his detailed explanation of Ceramorphosis and tweaked a dialogue option to react to it. So, great. You can now give Gale magic items from the Traveler's Chest. Huge benefit, because I hated that. You could only give it from stuff you had in your items, and I love to send things to chests, so that is massive. Fix a bug that would let you kiss Gale if he was disguised for him before confronting the Netherbrain, and also fix his dialogue with him cutting off before you could give him a smooch. Rework the script that determines whether a character is too busy to talk. This will prevent bugs like Minthara's dialogue not triggering at Moonrise Towers after you rescue her, and knock-on effects as a result of this, like not being able to rest or fast travel. So that's huge. Performance issues. Continue to make performance and stability optimizations across the game and implemented many under the hood code fixes. That's huge. Not that this game is buggy. I mean, I have a pretty decent PC. I played this also on my gaming laptop and had no issues. But this is going to be great for people that may not have as good of equipment as they want, and patches to fix performance is kind of expected, but glad to see that they further benefited that. So that is one nice thing with that. And optimized performance will now have no noticeable impact with a large number of NPCs like Lower City, which we're running around right now, and will reduce peak memory usage when loading levels for the first time. It'll also be noticeable when managing a lot of loot, transferring everything from camp. Yeah, mine lags because I have a ton of things in my camp. And cinematics, a few other changes here. Reworked and revamped the cutscene that plays when you interact with Answer's Bones and Wormway, and polished expressions and emotions across companion dialogue, including the facial animation of your character during some kissing cinematics, including the Vampire Lord Asterion. So that, I don't like Vampire Lord Asterion that much. Some people do, but I just feel like it's a little bit too much, but good that they're fixing all that. And it says, please bear in mind, these are just some of the highlights from patch 7. We'll share the full patch notes once patch 7 is live for everyone. So I expect to see a lot more, because they said there's 1,000 fixes. And yeah, I feel like there is some other things that will be revealed as this comes live. But what are you most excited for with patch 7? I'm curious to hear that. So feel free to leave a comment with what you're most excited for. For me, it's the mods. I am excited to finally do modded content. I do use some mods, like I don't use any cosmetic mods because I didn't. Oh, we're a little dirty. I didn't want anyone to play and not be able to use this. But now that mods are coming to consoles, I'll be doing modded builds and a whole bunch of different modded content. So I'm really looking forward to this, and I'm curious what you're looking forward to as well. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you're excited to see, and I will see you all in the next video. Hit that subscribe button below if you haven't already, and thank you so much for watching. We're going to land a chain lightning here and end off. Boom. That's all it took. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.